Welcome to another episode of Out from the Horrorbox. I'm your corn-shucking host, Dom, and in this episode, we do a quick review of the 2025 slasher film directed by Eli Craig and based on the 2020 novel by Adam Cesare. I'm probably butchering that. Found in a cornfield. And then take a look at more Unsolved Disappearances. Are you a friend of Friendo? Quinn Maybrook and her father moved to the tiny, boring town of Kettle Springs to find a fresh start. What they don't know is that ever since the Bay Pen corn syrup factory shut down, Kettle Springs has cracked in half. On one side, you have the adults, desperate to make Kettle Springs great again. On the other side, the kids, wanting to have fun, make prank videos, and get out as quick as they can. Kettle Springs is caught in a battle between old and new, tradition and progress. It's a fight that looks like it will destroy the town. Until Friendo, the Bay Pen mascot, a creepy clown, goes homicidal and decides that the only way for Kettle Springs to grow back is to call the rotten crop of kids who live there now. After we take a walk through the cornfield and find what's there, we delve into the strange, sad, and mysterious stories of unsolved disappearances. So let's get into it, Friendo. The film adaptation of Adam Cesare's Clown in a Cornfield was set in motion before the novel's August 2020 publication, with Temple Hill Entertainment acquiring the rights. It's directed by Eli Craig, who did Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which I have to do on here sometime because it's a hilarious movie. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's so good. Script by Carter Blanchard. The project was filmed in Winnipeg between September 18th and October 23rd, 2023. After premiering at the South by Southwest Film and TV Festival on March 10th, the day after my birthday, 2025, the horror feature received special preview screenings on May 2nd to 3rd at select theater chains before its wide U.S. release on May 9th through RLJE Films and Shudder. The film secured broad international distribution, with Entertainment Film Distributors handling the UK release, Constantine Film for Germany and Switzerland, SND for France, and other regional distributors covering territories from Australia to Japan. Stage 6 Films managed remaining the international markets, ensuring the slasher's global reach. This multi-territory strategy mirrored the novel's cult following while introducing the property to new audiences worldwide. So, I only have to ask, though, are you a friend, a friendo?
This is what I wanted to show you. Isn't it cool?
Yeah, it is really cool. Where'd you get it from?
I'm OG Kettle Springs, baby. I got all kinds of stuff.
Does it work?
Try it.
Look out!
They're really big on tradition around here.
Every year, there's this parade where everyone gathers around a Friendo float.
Friendo?
It's the clown on all the Bay Pen corn syrup labels. He's practically a local legend.
Smile, silly girl. You're about to become a sensation.
Be careful who you hang out with. There's some real weirdos at this town.
Yeah, 6. Very funny, man.
Hey, Ginger! You okay?
There's a psycho dressed up like Friendo, trying to kill us! Call 911! Where's the button, Jen? What is this? What kind of phone is this?
In 1991, Kettle Springs, Missouri, during a raucous teen party near the abandoned Baypen corn syrup factory, two lovers slip into the cornfield, only to be slaughtered by someone wearing the costume of Friendo, the factory's grinning mascot. The incident was brushed aside, another small-town tragedy. Years later, Quinn Maybrook and her father, Dr. Glenn Maybrook, played by Katie Douglas and Aaron Abrams, respectively, moved to Kettle Springs, hoping for a fresh start after her mother's death. Their strange relationship is tested further when Quinn befriends Cole Hill, played by Carson McCormick, the mayor's rebellious son, and his friends Janet, Matt, Ronnie, and Tucker. The group runs a YouTube channel parodying horror tropes, starring Friendo as a deranged killer. They are played by Cassandra Potenza, Alexander Martin Deacon, Verity Marks, and Ayo Solanke, respectively. But fiction bleeds into reality when Quinn spots a second Friendo lurking in their footage, one they didn't film. That same night, Tucker is murdered in his home by a masked intruder. At the town's 100th Founders Day festival, a prank gone wrong sets the Friendo float ablaze, enraging Sheriff Dunn, played by Will Sasso, who jails the teens. Meanwhile, Matt is decapitated in his garage by the real Friendo. That evening, the surviving friends attend a secluded farmhouse party. Chaos erupts when Ginger, a classmate, staggers from the cornfield with a crossbow bolt in her chest, followed by Matt's severed head hurled into the crowd. Panicked, the group flees, pursued by an army of armed Friendos. Their savior comes in the form of Rust Vance, played by Vincent Miller, Quinn's shotgun-wielding neighbor, who sacrifices himself to buy them time. The teens escape through the sewers, only to be rescued by Sheriff Dunn, who arrests Cole, dismissing their pleas. Meanwhile, Glenn discovers his clinic ransacked, forced at gunpoint to operate on a wounded Friendo. He turns the tables and stabs his captors. The teens aren't as lucky. Ronnie is chainsawed in the cornfield. Janet is impaled by a pitchfork in a farmhouse. Quinn fights back but is captured and dragged to a derelict Baypen factory. Inside, the Friendos remove their masks, revealing themselves as Sheriff Dunn along with the teacher, Mr. Vern, shopkeeper Otis, and waitress Trudy. They are played by Bradley Swatsky, Jean-Jacques Javier, and Dinah Leetold, respectfully. They blame the teens for ruining Kettle Springs traditions. Then, Mayor Arthur Hill, played by Kevin Durand, Cole's father, steps forward as the mastermind. He confesses to torching the factory years ago and now plans to frame Quinn and Cole for a murder-suicide. Just in time, Glenn rams his car through the factory, killing Otis and Trudy. Quinn electrocutes Dunn with a cattle prod while Russ rescues Cole. Hill escapes, but Mr. Vern is run over during the chaos. A year later, Glenn runs for mayor, and Quinn prepares for college. But as she drives away, a Baypen music box appears in her backseat, proof the nightmare isn't over. She flings it onto the road, watching it shatter in the rearview mirror. So now we'll get into my final thoughts. Normally I'd go a little bit more and elaborate into some other things, but for this, it's just going to be a quick review. Let's just get straight into it. Honestly, for being like a shorter, just kind of traditional slasher film, it did have kind of a pretty good twist. It is a pretty good film. I like it. I thought it was a simple film. I can't believe it was based off of a novel, honestly. I wonder if they build up the mystery of the Friendo a little bit more. Because the film, obviously, the movie's only like an hour and a half, maybe. And so they kind of get to discovering like that it's not just a friendo, it's a bunch of friendos kind of quickly. So we understand that like, oh, it's multiple people doing it, and I like that twist because I didn't know anything about it going in. My sister read the book and she said it was pretty good. So I was like, all right, okay. So, if you're telling me it's pretty good, the book's pretty good and has a pretty good, because I was like, oh, is it like a supernatural twist? Because I didn't know what it was about. I just knew clown in a cornfield, right? Like, is it like a supernatural thing? Is it a slasher? Is it, what kind of horror is it? Is he like a real monster? Is he not? And so like I'm asking her like these questions, and she's like, well, I don't really want to spoil it, so. I was pleasantly surprised. It's not like the best this year, but I mean, I don't think I've seen anything bad so far this year that like. I know that some people didn't really like the monkey, but I loved the monkey. I thought the monkey was really good. And this too, like I thought like was a pretty solid film. Like it's not gonna win any awards or anything. It has some pretty it is a little bit gory for what it is. So there's that gives it a little bit more too. It does feel its pace. Like the pacing is very fast. It gets you through this stuff really quick. Like they move in, they meet the friends. She joins them really quickly. The guy, he meets the sheriff, he meets the mayor. Like everything moves really at a steady pace, and that's pretty good. Like it'll keep people's attention. Which is pretty good. I feel like this is a really good one to watch, like for around like spooky season. Like it's just one to like throw on and be like, oh yeah, let's watch this one. It's not like maybe if you're watching a bunch of like slashers, it's not one that I'd be like, this is the main event. Like it's not like a Halloween or a Texas Chainsaw Massacre or anything like that. But it is still pretty good. Like the kills are pretty good. I think Friendo is pretty good design, like for being really scary and off-putting. And like I said, I haven't read the books, and there's 2 more books. There's I think Friendo Returns or something, and then something else. I forgot what the third one's called. And I really am now kind of invested because I'm like, how do you continue the story? Because so it's not supernatural in any way. Does it become supernatural? Is it like how we're gonna do? Well, see the with the black phone, it is gonna be we're learning that the grabber, Ethan Hawke's character, is coming back as like a kind of like a Freddy Krueger, right? He's gonna come back in like the dreams or something more supernatural, right? But they already introduced like the supernatural element to it in the first one, so it makes it a little bit more palatable that they add it, right? Like you're not gonna be there like, well, nothing supernatural happened in the first one. Something I think it's more like if it were like Halloween, right? Like or like how in like when we get to Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, it's like, wait, so is it magic that's keeping him alive, right? Or it would be like if in the new Scream, like we learned that Ghostface is actually like a ghost face. Ooh, he's the ghost of all the previous killers. Ooh, that'd be kind of stupid. Like maybe if Friendo came, see, like how do you bring Friendo back if it was like the mayor? Like they had like a pretty substantial like plan for what they were going to do and how they were doing it. So I don't know. I'm prepared to find out how. I really don't want to spoil myself and look it up. So maybe I'll wait to see. Maybe I'll read them and see if I like them or not. But like the acting is pretty solid. It's not anything crazy. I think Will Sasso's funny, and I think the girl who plays Quinn, he does a pretty good job, and I think Kevin Durant is always amazing in every little role. He always comes out, and I'm so glad he's finally getting more roles and stuff. Ever since Lost, I think he's like a pretty good actor. Okay, because he was in I think X-Men as the Blob in Wolverine, and then he was in The Strain, and then he was also in Abigail. He was in just recently, but he was he was also in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the most recent one, and he does a great job there too. So honestly, if you haven't seen it, I'd say wait till it's streaming. If it's still out in theaters, I don't know if it is still. You can probably wait when it's streaming. I'd say also wait for like spooky season. I think that's when it's been pretty good. Or like if it's like a weekend or something you really want to get like spooky. It's not too spooky, but it is like a nice like slasher film to like complement something like you don't like maybe if you wanted to show like your teenagers or something or like preteens. I think this would be a pretty good one. So yeah, I mean I think I'd give it a solid like 3. I wouldn't say 2.5 because I feel like that's a little low. Maybe like 2.75, 3. That's why I gotta give it a 3. Because I don't think you can. I don't think it deserves a 2.5, but I don't know if it necessarily deserves a 3. I think it's good, but I don't know if it's like that good. But yeah, like I said, check it out if you can. If you're afraid of clowns, definitely don't watch this. You're gonna be having nightmares for weeks. And yeah, it is what it is. There's a lot of I love like these kind of films that just come out to just kind of satiate that itch for like something scary, but nothing too grandiose, nothing too dumb and stupid. But it's just a middle. There's got to be some middle films, right? There's a front door ajar, an abandoned car on the side of the road. A last call cut off. We keep hope that when someone disappears, we will not only find, but also understand the circumstances around how they came to be missing. In rare instances, people seem to disappear into thin air. It seems strange that when we have progressed so far, that we are so connected, it seems harder to fall off the grid. Yet these disappearances still happen from time to time, all across the globe. We start off near a ditch in rural Minnesota, check on a house in Missouri, and end off in a third-floor apartment in New Hampshire. Come along as we dive into the disappearances of family, friends, and neighbors. On May 14, 2008, 19-year-old Brandon Swanson vanished without a trace in rural Minnesota after his car slid into a ditch near Taunton. What began as a routine call for help turned into one of the state's most baffling missing persons cases, one that would ultimately change Minnesota law. After celebrating the end of the semester with friends in Canby, Brandon left around midnight for his family's home in Marshall. Just before 2 a.m., he called his parents, Brian and Annette Swanson, to report that his Chevrolet Lumina was stuck in a ditch. Uninjured but unable to free the car, he asked him to pick him up, believing he was near Lind, a small town southwest of Marshall. For 47 minutes, Brandon remained on the phone with his parents as they searched in vain. He described seeing distant lights, likely the red beacon of a Taunton grain elevator, and hearing running water. At 2:30 a.m., he suddenly exclaimed, "Oh shit," before the line went silent. Repeated calls to his phone went unanswered. When Brandon failed to return by dawn, his parents reported him missing to Lynn police, who initially dismissed their concerns, stating that Brandon had a right to be missing. By midday, however, authorities traced his cell signal to a tower near Taunton, 25 miles northwest of Lynn. His abandoned car was soon discovered on a gravel road near the Lincoln County line, undamaged but stranded on an incline with no visible footprints nearby. Over the following weeks, search teams combed the area, focusing on the Yellow Medicine River, where bloodhounds picked up a scent trail leading to the water. Despite deploying sonar, boats, and ground teams, no trace of Brandon was found. His parents maintained that he didn't seem disoriented during their call and doubted he had drowned. So some theories and dead ends that it might have been an accidental death. Some investigators speculated Brandon fell into the river or succumbed to hypothermia, though no evidence supported this. It could have been foul play. Lincoln County Sheriff Jack Vinzecki acknowledged the possibility of an abduction, though no signs of a struggle were found. Intentional disappearance. Brandon had no history of running away, and his parents insisted he had no reason to vanish. Frustrated by the delayed police response, the Swansons lobbied for legislative change. In 2019, Minnesota passed Brandon's Law, mandating immediate investigations for missing adults previously reserved for children and clarifying jurisdictional responsibilities. The law has since been adopted in 4 other states. Despite extensive searches covering 122 square miles over 3 years, Brandon was never found. His parents kept their porch light burning for years, a symbol of their hope for answers. The case remains open, a haunting reminder of how quickly someone can vanish without explanation. What caused Brandon's sudden exclamation before the call cut off? Did he encounter someone or something in the darkness? Why has no trace of him ever been found despite years of searching? Brandon's disappearance remains a chilling mystery, with only the faintest clues and the echo of his final words left behind. On June 7, 1992, 3 women vanished without a trace from a home in Springfield, Missouri. Cheryl Levitt, 47, a cosmetologist and mother of Susie. Susie Streeter, 19, who had just graduated from Kickapoo High School the night before. And Stacy McCall, 18, Susie's close friend and fellow graduate. All 3 were last seen in the early hours of June 7th after attending a graduation party. Their abandoned cars, purses, and personal belongings, including Cheryl's $800 cash deposit from work, were left untouched in the house. The night before June 6, 1992, after their graduation ceremony, Susie and Stacy attended multiple parties, ending at a friend's house in Springfield around 2 a.m. Originally intending to stay at a friend Janelle Kirby's crowded home, they decided to go to Cheryl's house instead. Susie wanted to show Stacy her new waterbed, and Cheryl last heard from at 11:15 p.m. on June 6th, speaking to a friend on the phone. The next morning at 9 a.m., Janelle Kirby and her boyfriend arrived at Cheryl's house after Susie and Stacy failed to meet for a planned trip to Whitewater Water Park. The front door was unlocked, the porch light's glass shade was shattered, the bulb was intact. There was no sign of a struggle, but Cheryl's Yorkshire Terrier, Cinnamon, was agitated. Kirby answered 2 obscene phone calls from an unidentified male. Later that day, Stacy's mother, Janice McCall, arrived and found all 3 women's purses, keys, and cigarettes left behind. A half-finished Coke can and makeup wipes in Susie's room. A disturbing voicemail that was accidentally erased. The police later received a disconnected tip, December 1992, from a man claiming to have prime knowledge of the case. This leaves us with some possible suspects. Dustin Rekla, Susie's ex-boyfriend. He had a criminal record, grave robbery, and was rumored to be angry over Susie's possibly testifying against him. Robert Craig Cox, who was a convicted kidnapper, claimed in 1997 that the women were murdered and buried, but provided no proof. The unidentified male caller, possibly linked to prior prank calls Susie had complained about. In 2007, Ground penetrating radar detected anomalies under the garage, but police dismissed the lead as baseless. Who made the obscene calls that morning? What was the erased voicemail? Why did Cox hint at knowledge but refuse to talk? Cheryl and Susie were declared legally dead in 1997. The Springfield Three's disappearance defies logic. No struggle, no clear motive, no bodies ever found. Was it a targeted attack? A random abduction? Or something even darker? Decades later, the case remains wide open, haunting investigators and true crime enthusiasts alike. Lorraine Ron was a bright, artistic 14-year-old living in Manchester, New Hampshire in 1980. Described as a talented singer with dreams of becoming an actress, she was also known to be rebellious, experimenting with alcohol and marijuana and occasionally talking about running away. On the night of April 26, 1980, she vanished without a trace from her third-floor apartment on Merrimack Street. Lorraine was home alone while her mother, Judith, attended a tennis match with her boyfriend. Lorraine spent the day at a local convenience store, possibly exchanging work for alcohol, and invited 2 friends over, one male and one female, and drank beer and wine with them. Around 12:30 a.m., April 27th, Lorraine's male friend heard voices in the hallway and left through the back door, later claiming Lorraine locked it behind him. A neighbor reported hearing voices approaching the apartment. At 1:15 a.m., Judith returned home to find all hallway light bulbs were unscrewed, plunging the building into darkness. The apartment door was unlocked. Her female friend was asleep in Lorraine's bed, claiming Lorraine had moved to the couch, but she was nowhere to be found. No signs of struggle. Lorraine's purse, new sneakers, and all belongings remained. Judith immediately reported her missing, but police initially suspected she had run away. No fingerprints, DNA, or signs of struggle in the apartment. The unscrewed light bulb suggests someone deliberately darkened the hallway. The unlocked door and open back door hinted at forced entry or hasty exit. October 1980, Judith was billed for 3 calls from California, 2 from a Santa Monica motel, later linked to a suspected child pornographer, Dr. Z, and 1 to a teen sex hotline in Santa Ana. A doctor connected to the hotline later claimed a girl resembling Lorraine visited his home, possibly linked to adult film star Annie Sprinkle, but no concrete evidence was found. Judith received silent calls at 3:45 a.m. for years, stopping only after she changed her number. In 1981, a friend claimed to see Lorraine at a Boston bus terminal. Lorraine's male friend's suicide in 1985 raised questions, though he was never suspect. In 1988, a sex worker in Anchorage, Alaska, matched her description. A bus driver initially ID'd Lorraine from a photo, but later recanted. Dr. Z and pornography angle investigator Carol Jensen tied a motel to child exploitation, but couldn't prove Lorraine was there. Lorraine's case remains one of New England's most haunting disappearances, a girl who vanished into the night, leaving only whispers of a life that might have been. These disappearances are always so scary. I'm sitting here at night reading them and looking for them, searching through, trying to figure out which one, to talk about. And, these are the ones that really stuck with me, especially the Springfield 3 one, the one with the 3 women, the 2 girls who just graduated and the mom comes home. But it's just like little things here and there. Okay, let's just say someone went missing and the bulb is the porch light is shattered, but not the light, just the container. What happened? Right? And then the dog was still there and was obviously agitated, but it didn't seem like it was injured or anything. Somebody might have it might have attacked somebody or something, right? There's no blood anywhere. And the fact that they didn't take any the money either. it's just so weird. And the fact that there was like three of them, like three people. So then it was multiple people that came and like took, quote unquote, took them. Did they just disappear because they wanted to leave, or to like what happened? Did something happen and they were like, oh, we gotta leave, and then from there something happened? Or even like with Brandon Swanson, like, right, he's like on the phone, and like I've watched videos of this over and over, just countless different videos, and you know, they show like where he was and where he thought he was and where, you know, where he actually was, and the fact that like, yeah, he was near this river, but like if you're on the phone, I don't know, maybe wouldn't you have heard like a splash? Why would it just cut off like that? If he fell into the water, wouldn't you hear? And maybe then it just like short circuited and was just fell in the water. And then what, like, how deep was the river? Was it able to like pull him along? Was it fast enough and like strong enough to just pull him along? And like maybe he hit his head on like a rock and then like he drowned. But then, like, how come they couldn't find, like, his body or anything? And then, like, it's like the police were like, oh, you know, like, oh, maybe he wanted to go missing. It's like I know, yeah, like, there's people that would like that, you know, would want to go missing. But I don't know. To me, it doesn't. There's nothing like his parents say. There's no reason for him to want to, you know, go missing. And then even with Lorraine, like, she's like a 14-year-old girl. Like, this one is kind of creepy because also, like, it just scares me because it's like that, like, one morning you can wake up and, like, oh, why is my brother's door open? Oh, wait, the back door was unlocked the whole time? And then, like, oh, the light outside is broken. Like, why? It's really creepy. It's really scary because you can't just say like they just disappeared into nothing. Because where did they go? They have to be somewhere, right? It's just so creepy. It's so scary to know that, like, you know, even now, like, someone could just disappear, and even though it's so hard to just disappear, it's still very easy for people to go missing. For all of human history, we have lived with people disappearing in strange and unexplainable ways. Sometimes they are easy to solve. Other times they will puzzle us till the day we disappear. There are multiple sides to every story, and even if the explanation is something mundane, there's so many things that are out there that we still don't know and will remain unknown. So remember to keep your eyes open and check every shadow. We want to thank you for listening, and if you like what you hear, please subscribe to get every new episode downloaded. Do you have any personal or fictional, paranormal, supernatural, or unexplainable stories? We would love to read them on the podcast. Please send your stories, recommendations, or anything else to horrorboxpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to show more support, you can follow our socials on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, or check out our YouTube channel, all at horrorboxpodcast on all sites. Also, you can buy me a coffee at coffee.com/horrorboxpodcast. It really helps out. Until next time, just don't wander into a cornfield. This is Dom, signing off from the Horrorbox.
Hey, check it out, it's Friendo.
Thanks, yeah.